What's up, guys? This is Travis. We're back for poker vlog number 5. I'm at a new place today, a little bit closer to Tampa in St. Pete, Florida. And I just ran in here. Haven't played here at all. I just got permission to do my vlog. I said, in that case, I will be right back. So I came to grab my my little stand here that I used to vlog with, and we're gonna go in here and test the waters. So the games here are a little different. I just walked in there and glanced, and the 1-3 buy-in is up to $1,500 max. The 2-5 is $2,500 max. I don't really know what to expect. I'll probably just jump into some 1-3 right now to test the waters of this new place, but I'm pretty excited. So hopefully I run good. Hopefully I give you guys some good content. Wish me luck. Without further ado, let's go. So I sit down, my very first hand, not really sure what to expect. There's a straddle on for 6 and a double straddle on for 12, and I happen to look down at 2 red 9s. Before I even have time to think, someone automatically raises it up to $40. It's over on me. I could 3-bet this, but when I'm new to a table and I don't really know what anyone's up to, I tend to play more on the cautious side, at least to start out. I slip in the call, and so do 3 other people after me. So my very first hand here, pocket 9s, and we're going to a flop with $200 in the middle. And this is a 1-3 game, so I'm a little bit excited to be where I'm at right now. Flop comes 7 deuce 10 rainbow, so seems fair to me. Could be worse. Action checks over to me. I'm going to check this back, being so multi-way. Anybody could have a 10. But it actually checks all the way through, which is pretty good news, and we go to a turn card, which brings the 3 of clubs. So a good card for me. I'm in later position, so I already decide if it checks to me again, I would have expected to hear from a 10 by now. I'm going to go ahead and bet this, thinking I probably have the best hand and do not want someone to spike an easy overcard on the river. I bet out $80. Decent sized bet, being multi-way. Give the draws a tough price on this board as well. It folds around to the original raiser, who goes ahead and counts out a stack of red chips, and he puts in the call. He's no nit. He's here to play. And the river brings a pretty good card for me with the 4 of spades. I could get greedy here and keep going for value after he checks, but I decide to go ahead and check back. Again, I'm new here. I flip over pocket 9s. He says he has a 7. And we scoop a $360 pot, our very first hand sitting down at this table. Let's go. Just a few hands later, we have a dealer change. That means a double board bomb pot here at this place. And I look down at pocket 9s. I'm not a big advocate for these. I personally do not love playing them, but I don't want to be a bad sport being the new guy here at the table, so I come along. Everyone throws in $10, and we go 8 ways to 2 boards is how this works. So one flop comes queen 9 deuce, and another comes 4 5 6. So for better or worse, I just hit this board pretty hard, at least on one of them, and it checks around to a tighter player. He bets out 50. I desperately want to fold and get out of this, but I'm no chump. I have to come along for $50 and see what happens on the rest of this board here. One other player puts in the call, and then we go to 2 turn cards. The turns bring a 7 of diamonds on one and a 10 of clubs on the other. So the boards are very straight at this point. Again, I'm not too thrilled to even be in this hand, but here we are. The first position player goes ahead and puts in a check. The tighter player, who bet last time, goes ahead and sizes up to $150. And in my mind, I'm deciding right now if I'm going to fully commit to this pot and see this through all the way to the river, even if facing another bet, or if I should just get out now for the minimum. And ultimately I decide I'm going to put in the call. Let's see what happens here. Don't be a nit. The other player tanks for quite a while, and he ultimately ends up throwing his cards into the muck. So we're going heads up to a river card with about $530 in the middle. So pretty significant pot here, and one board on board one brings the queen of clubs, board two brings the four of clubs. And I feel like I'm off-road without a roadmap, but I'm feeling really good. I could possibly be scooping both boards here, but there's just never telling what somebody has in this. I'm expecting him to check at this point, but he reaches for chips. I go, oh god. He bets 150. I'm definitely not folding. I'm not going to raise either. I call and I flip over my pocket nines, saying, let me scoop, but he flips over pocket kings. So he takes board two. I take board one, obviously, with a full house. $830 in the middle, and I profit only like 50 bucks, but nonetheless kind of exciting. So this hand, we're in the small blind with the straddle on the button. We look down at a beautiful ace, queen of clubs. I accidentally misclick my raise to only $16, which is a very odd amount, but nonetheless, we get four callers, to be expected with such a small raise with the straddle on. My bad there, but we're going 5 ways to a flop. And the board comes jack, queen, 8 with 2 spades. Obviously, I crushed this board. Would like to have a club on there, but it's all good. Good enough for me to lead out for $25. I'm trying to work on not slow playing as much. I feel like I've had a bad habit of doing that in the past. And in these stakes especially, it just usually does not work out for the best. So I lead out for $25. One caller to my left. The gentleman across from me at the table throws in a $25 chip in the middle, smooth call. And now it's over on the button, who seems to be conducting an evil plan in his mind. He grabs some raisin chips and raises to $150. And it's back on me now. I think he could definitely be making a play here on such a wet and connected board. Just looking at him and sizing him up a little bit, he definitely seems like the type that's more than capable of check raise with a bluff right here, especially when he thinks I'm probably just betting my range. Everyone else is weak. So I'm definitely not going to go anywhere with my hand. I call the 150. And the other two players end up making the fold. And we go heads up to a turn card. The turn brings the 4 of spades. So I hate this card, to be honest. If he was check raising with a flush draw, he now got there, of course. I'm not going to be betting, of course. I go ahead and make the check. And he actually decides to check back after not too long, which is interesting. And the river brings a 10 of hearts. So what do I do here? I have top pair, top kicker, check raise big on the flop. And then he checks it back when the flush gets there. He's played this pretty interesting, to say the least. I'm not really sure what to put him on. So I want to make it to showdown. I don't want to check and look too weak and have him blast a huge river bet and I have to fold. So I ultimately decide to go ahead and put down a little blocker bet, $125, pretty small bet compared to the pot, and I feel comfortable putting this in there to try to get the showdown as cheap as I can, which I think this is going to be my best option with this particular player. And he actually tanks for quite a while. I'm hoping he doesn't raise me, but he's looking like he wants to fold, like he might actually have some showdown value. And he's debating on a call, so I do not know what 2 cards are in this man's hand. I can't even imagine at this point. I'm kind of hoping for a fold, because my hand is actually not that strong on this board. But he flicks in a call. I don't know where I'm at. I say, I have a queen. He says, oh, I can beat that. And he makes me show, and he turns over 10-4 offsuit for the airball bluff. And the runner 2 pair? What the f? I am totally shook up. We lose a massive pot to my man over here to the right. But nice hand, buddy. Way to go. Well played, I guess. I laugh off that last hand because I look down at pocket threes. There's a raise to $10. There's nothing left for me to do here but make a call. And 4 other players come along with the call. So we go 6 ways to a flop, which comes jack, jack, jack. So very interesting flop here for pocket threes. The original raiser makes it $15. Next act folds. And I'm here with a full house. Not a great one, but a full house nonetheless. I'm definitely going to slip in the call, see what develops. Guy to my left makes a call as well, and everybody else makes a fold. So we're going to go 3 ways here to a turn card with a decent little pot building. And the turn brings a 3 of hearts, so I kind of let out a silent little chuckle to myself, saying if only there was one less jack out there. And then the aggressor leads out for $50, betting at it again. I don't think for this price I can go anywhere just yet, although I am also concerned about the guy to my left. I think this over for just a few seconds, but I cannot fold this hand just yet. I have seen this guy do some pretty wacky plays. I put in the call, and the guy to my left goes in the tank for a little bit. He comes along with the call. So decent pot here, which brings us to a river card, which comes the King of Hearts. So I don't know. I don't think it really changes anything as to the context of this board. I pretty much make a decision that if I face another massive bet, I'm probably going to have to let this go. Somebody leading in for 3 turns is pretty strong on this board. I'll probably just have to give him credit. He grabs a monster sack of green chips, is counting them out, sets aside $300 and slides it out. And I think this is the point that I can let go of this hand. I'm pretty convinced, and I still have one guy left to act behind me. But even if I didn't, I think I could get away from my hand here. So I let it go. And good thing I did, because my opponent reveals he flopped quads. He does have the jack in his hand. So all things considered, I probably lost the minimum here. Nice hand, buddy. There's a raise to $20 from early position. I look down at King Jack of Diamonds in the big blind. I could always 3-bet this, but I decided to take the passive route and just call. I want to see what a flop brings with this hand. So heads up to a flop, which comes 9, deuce, 5 with 2 diamonds. So all things considered, this is a pretty good board for me. It crushes my range, and I have the diamond draw, obviously. I check, and my opponent quickly checks back. The turn is great with the King of Clubs, so now improves my equity quite a bit. And I have the flush draw as well. I want to start building a pot heads up. I go ahead and decide on a bet of $30. And he pretty quickly makes a call, which is interesting. So 2 flush draws on the board, heading to a river heads up, and it comes a beautiful Jack of Hearts. So we hit top 2 pair. I'm loving this. I'm just hoping that he has a king, which he should a lot of the time from an early position raise. So I'm thinking about what bet size I'm going to do. I think I can go decently big here, not get too greedy, but I decide on a bet of $85, giving him a pretty fair price to call with the king. It should kind of be a no-brainer if he has any kind of decent kicker, which again he should in his early position raising range. But he lets it go, says nice hand, and he ends up telling me he folded King 10. So wow, what a good fold by this guy. A little tight, but we scoop a little pot. The straddle is on for $6. I'm in first to act. I look down at 10-8 of diamonds. I like this hand personally. I bump it up to $20. One person comes along with the call, and so does the straddler. So we're going 3 ways to a flop. Board comes Jack 9-5 with 2 hearts. First act checks. I have an open ender. No diamonds on the board, but that's okay. I go ahead and decide to bet out $20 here. I don't really like this play by me. I think my hand works much better as either a check call or a check raise, but there's no going back. I bet out $20. The button makes a call, and the gentleman to my right makes a call as well. So we're heading to a turn card at this point. Definitely need to improve our equity, which we do not when the turn comes a 3 of hearts. So flush draw gets there. I'm definitely going to check this one around like I should have the first time. Gentleman to my right checks. I check. It's over on the button, who also decides to check. The river comes the 8 of clubs. So now we have showdown value. First act checks. Now that I have showdown value with third pair, I don't really see any point to betting here. I check it over to the button, who bets out for $50. I mean, this guy has not gotten out of line at all. I haven't seen him bluff once. If you just look at him, he looks like the most honest man you've ever seen. I have third pair. I think it over for a little bit after the gentleman to my right checks. I decide I'm not going to pay this guy off. He hasn't given much action unless he has it. I fold, buddy. You can take it down. Nice hand. We move on here to the next hand. There's a limp. In first act, I look down at ace 7 of diamonds. I bump it up to $15. And naturally, we're going to go ahead and head 5 ways to a flop here, which comes ace, jack, deuce. So pretty good flop. I have top pair, pretty bad kicker, but nonetheless top pair. It checks over to me. I'm in late position, so I'm going to go ahead and play my role and make a bet out for $50. I don't really love my sizing here. I think I could probably go like half of this amount, being with so many people here on the flop. But I immediately get re-raised by a complete maniac to my left to $105, which is, pretty interesting. The gentleman to my right here is a very tight player. I haven't seen him get out of line at all. He's one of those guys that only plays when he has it. Tends to do pretty good for him here at this table, but he slips in the call, which is definitely concerning. But for $55 more with top pair, I definitely cannot be folding this. So I pull out a stack of my red chips, slowly take the time to count out $55, pile it on up, and shove it into the middle for a call, and we're going to head to a turn card. The turn is the Jack of Hearts, so it pairs the board. Not the worst card ever in my opinion. I'm getting closer to a chop if one of the players has an ace. Of course, the maniac to my left blasts off his last $103. I think he could be doing this with, it sounds crazy, but probably any 2 cards. I'm definitely more concerned about the guy to my right. And he puts in the call pretty quickly. And at this point, it becomes very debatable what I should be doing here. In hindsight, I think this is a fold a lot of times if you're in here with a tight player and he is just calling down. I go into the tank for a little while here, and it sucks because I'm getting such a good price. I have to call basically $100 to win $600 at this point. And for that pricing, I just don't think I can find a fold. He could have an ace, a high card could come on the river, and we could definitely be chopping this up. I'm just not too concerned about the guy to my left. So I put in the call for $103, and we're going to head to a river. $709 in the middle, and the river comes in 8 of hearts. So not exactly the river card I was looking for. I was hoping for king, queen, possibly a 10, anything that would give me a better kicker. And the tight player to my right looks at his cards for a while, grabs a stack of green chips as my worst fears come alive, counts them out, and he slides out a big chunky bet of $300, and I snap fold, angry at the situation and knowing that I could have folded earlier, but I got priced in. He shows ace-jack, go figure, for the flop 2 pair, turned, full house, and he takes down a massive pot, and the player to my left never shows. Don't imagine that he had a much better hand than what I had. This next hand ends up being our last one, and it is a pretty wild one. The gentleman from the last hand to our left, who is a very loose player, bought back in. He puts the double straddle on for $12. There's 3 callers, and then it gets to the other very loose player on my right who decides to bump it up to $75. And I look down at ace, king, offsuit. What a spot to be in right now. I've been waiting to isolate one of these players with a good hand, and I finally might have my opportunity. $75 is no good for me from this player. I raise it to $225. And the loose player to my left naturally says, that sounds like a good price, and he puts in the call. Gets back to the aggressor on my right side, who raised it to 75 after everybody else folds. And he thinks to himself, I was just trying to mess around and steal a little pot. And he decides to go ahead and make the fold. So we're going heads up to a flop with this guy, which comes ace high, ace 8, 7. What a dream spot. There's 2 clubs out there. I'm trying to see what he has, but I don't really feel like asking him. So I know if I check, this guy is going to bet no matter what. And from there, I can raise and comfortably get the rest of his stack in. So that's exactly what I do. I check, and it goes according to plan. He bets out $100, and I finally get a good look at his chip stack and see he only has a little over 150 behind. So I put on a little posture, make it look like I really have a tough decision to make, and I say, well, I'm going to raise to $400, and he snap jams all in, and we are heading off to finish the run out. Here comes a queen of hearts. River pairs the board with another 7. He still hasn't shown, and he flips over 9-5 of clubs for the busted flush draw, and we scoop an almost $1,200 pot to end this session. Let's go. So that is going to conclude our session for today. In for 1,500, out for 1,741. Little $241 win, I'll take it. But bigger than that, I am pumped that I found this new place to come play at. When I called them initially asking if they were cool with vlogging, they said they don't really allow it. I decided, let me come in, let me talk to them and meet them in person. Let them know I'm not some psychopath. And they were really cool about it when I got here. Said, hey man, do your thing. You have the green light, just don't put people's faces in it, etc., which is all good with me. So a big thank you to Derby Poker in St. Pete, Florida for letting me get some vlog content for you guys. And the games here, oh, sorry about that. The games here are going to be very good. That was not a normal 1-3 game. That was really swingy, really splashy, the kind of poker that just makes you happy to be playing poker. So I'm pumped to come back here. But I'm going to wrap this up, and that is going to conclude poker vlog number 5. As always, huge thank you to every single person that has taken the time to watch the whole video through, and thank you to all my subscribers. You guys are awesome, and we will see you on the next one.